know, me and my little brother, we got thrown into sports early, with basketball being the predominantly one. But eighth grade, I was just getting in trouble.
Y'all, welcome back to another episode on D-Hop TV. On today's show, I'm joined by Danny Mason, the Vice President of Sanders Fit Performance Center. Appreciate you taking the time to come to my platform.
Most definitely appreciate you having me, man.
For sure. I said everything right though, didn't I?
Yeah, 100%, dog. AKA Sanders Fit is what a lot of people refer us as. But you know, we just want to put ourselves out there with you, man, to your audience, let people know who we are. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Okay, for sure. That's love. So let's go ahead and get today's show started. So you played professional football. So how did you get started into playing football?
Man, shoot, originally I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, so football really didn't cross my inner matrix until about 8th grade. You know, basketball has always been the sport. You know, me and my little brother, we got thrown into sports early, with basketball being the predominantly one. But 8th grade, I was just getting in trouble in middle school, man. Yeah. And my sister, she came home one day. She older than me. She went to local high school and just told me I need to join the football team. So my sister actually put me in football. My mom's put me in football, but she took me off because I missed my ride to practice. She won't admit it though, but my big sister put me in football.
Yeah. Okay, how did that first time go and play football? So you always play linebacker?
Man, I played everything. I was in 8th grade, so I played up, man. I played in high. I didn't never play like Little League. Yeah. So like I said, my high school was local. She knew the coach, so I played I was in 8th grade in middle school playing freshman and JV. Yeah. So I used to leave school and go to practice. So they had me playing tight end. They had me play center. I didn't know how to snap, but they just put me in spots in practice, you know, because I wasn't really active yet. So they had me play a little bit of everything, D-line, linebacker, but eventually I grew into a middle linebacker in high school. That's what I played.
Okay, so did you have a favorite football player? Favorite football player, favorite football team?
Yeah, Sean Taylor was my favorite football player in the Denver Broncos.
Safety from Washington. That's who. I remember him. He was a hard hitter for sure.
Yeah.
Denver Broncos fan. Mm-hmm. So how you become a Denver Broncos fan?
First team I played with on Madden.
For real?
I just, you know how you just select the teams? You know how you hit the little thing, select the teams? Yeah. That's the first team that popped off. I was playing with my god brother Damien next door. Yeah. And we just hopped on the game, just did some select whatever team, bro. And that's the first team popped up. Yeah. And I whooped his ass too. He won't admit it. But I just rolled with Denver since then.
Oh, okay, that's hard.
Jake the Snake. You know, a lot of guys like that on the team.
And that's crazy that you end up spending some time with him when you made it to the league.
Yeah, man, guy's good, bro. He'll blow your mind if you let him. You know what I mean? So just hard work, bro, talking to God through the journey, bro. And next thing I know, I'm playing on my favorite team growing up. You know what I mean? I'm a Midwest kid growing up in Louisville, so we didn't have a pro team, but we had the Indianapolis Colts that was north of us, and then the Bengals, the Titans. So Peyton Manning was like the biggest name in that region. Yeah. So it was cool to play with him, man.
Yeah, okay. So going back to your football journey, so who would you say was like the biggest influence who helped you get to the next level?
Through my journey?
Yeah.
Honestly, man, my family, bro, for real. Like leaving home at 18 years old, graduating high school, you know, we was a close-knit family in Kentucky. Yeah. And we knew, you know, and our biggest thing was just go to college, get a degree. So I really wasn't even, you know, I was just happy to leave home on a football scholarship. Barely got that because I wanted to qualify out of high school because I was ripping and running, just being a knucklehead. Yeah. But at the last minute, RP coach Guy Morris, who played in the league for a long time, over 15 years, won 2 Super Bowls with the Eagles and the Patriots. He stole me off a recruiting board at the University of Kentucky. Yeah. And I had a lot of big-time schools come talk to me, Notre Dame, a lot of schools amongst them schools, you know, and he kind of hit me up on the fly when all those schools was telling me to go to junior college. Yeah. But my head coach, Rayvon Patterson in high school, he was like, man, if you can get into like a D2 or something like that, or HBCU, that'd be good for you because at JUCO, I know you and your grades and all that. He know I could lose focus. He thought I was gonna lose focus, but he was like, man, you don't want to get lost in that pool like some of them guys do. Yeah. You know, knowing our backgrounds and stuff like that, who we hang with at times growing up. But Coach Morris blessed me, man. He drove down to Kentucky from Texas, recruited me, met my family. You remember that, Ted? Met my family. And, you know, he flew me out there and said, you do everything you're supposed to, you'll graduate. So that hit me hard when he first said it over football. He said, you'll graduate. You know what I mean? So I was like, shit, that's what mom and my granny want. You know, I got a little brother and sisters, so I was like, I need to do that. Yeah. So I did that. So my family, man, we a praying family, a faith-driven family. So anytime I got homesick or whatever, they motivated me to stay at school, let me know they ain't going nowhere. So my family, my mom's, you know, for sure, my granny, you know what I mean? So family, bro.
Yeah. When you realized that you could make a career out of football?
It's tough, man. You know, football come at you in ways, bro, because, you know, like I tell some of my athletes that I train, bro, football players come in all shapes and sizes, you know, from the biggest to the smallest. But really when I got to Texas, man, like I knew for sure if I was going to go to college and ball and football, I had to come run with them Cowboys down here. And you know, I'm talking about all these football players, you know, they tough, man. So when I got to Texas A&M-Commerce, shout out to my Lions, man, now known as East Texas A&M, you know, we D1. But when I got down to school, it was a rude awakening, you know, it's my welcome to football moment for real. So when I got to Texas, bro, that's when I knew I can, you know, handle my own, which I did, you know what I mean?
I was just going back to my next question. So you had an impressive career in total 300 tackles and made All-American. What do you remember the most about those years?
Man, I was a two-time All-American actually in college. You know, I don't wanna, you know, but yeah, man, what I remember, bro, you know, just my teammates, dog. Like, you know, without them guys through my 4 years in Commerce, bro, like, they all poured into me, you know. They seen this little scrawny kid from Kentucky. They used to call me Slim. I was so I'm telling you, when I got to campus my first day, I seen big old DNs from Alabama. I'm like, man, I hope he ain't a running back. They thought I played receiver. You know what I mean? So, you know, my teammates, bro, you know, they helped me in the weight room, really got my football IQ up, really taught me the game, you know what I mean, and what it meant to play linebacker on a defense where, you know, I'm one of the guys that are dependent on to make plays, you know, and my coaches too, they really put me in a position to excel at my position as a true sandbacker, you know, learning the game like that. So my teammates, bro, I really say they really helped pour into me. One of my good friends, he passed away, but he served our country. Joe Wren played strong safety. You know, he encouraged me a lot, you know, to keep pushing. Said I was going to be one of them stories at the end of the day.
For sure. How was the transition going from Louisville to Texas?
Man, you know, the transition, it was different, bro. I always say it was like a culture shock, you know what I mean? Because I grew up in the West End of Louisville and Portland. You know, it wasn't the best neighborhood, but, you know, like I said, I had family. It was a close-knit community. But just getting to Texas, seeing like how advanced some of these student athletes, I guess you would say, on campus was, and people in general, you know, pulling up in cars, you know, on rim, all these, you know, how y'all ride. You know how they ride down. You from Arkansas, but you ain't too far up the street, you know. But
I already know.
It was a big culture shock, man. But like I said, my teammates, you know, they welcomed me with open arms. So the transition wasn't too bad. Football was a big umbrella, though. You know what I mean? But it was going to college, getting adjusted in college was a big adjustment, bro.
Okay, for sure. So going back to your NFL career, so you went from indoor football to signing with the Denver Broncos. What was that moment like for you, and where was you at when you got that call from the Broncos? Man,
I was actually at home visiting the family for the holidays, Thanksgiving. And I was mopping my mom's floor, bro. You know, it don't matter if I finish college or not, I'm going to help clean up. You know what I mean? Sure. But it was cool. Got a call from a good friend to this day, Champ Kelly. Congrats to him also. He just became the interim GM for the Dolphins, you know. But he gave me a call, asked if I was in shape. You know, I met him through a friend, through arena football. That's why I tell these young guys, bro, it ain't about who you know or what you know. It's about who know you. You know what I mean? So a guy knew me that's best friends happened to work for the Denver Broncos and introduced us, worked his kids' camp, and, you know, it was just up from there, bro. So, yeah, man, I was at my mom's crib, you know what I mean?
For real?
Yeah, I was at my mom's crib cleaning up. You know what I mean? Doing my chores or whatever you want to call it.
So when they like be calling y'all for a job, do y'all like have to immediately fly out there, or they give you a ton? Like, how did that be working?
It's like a couple day turn. They give you a little, like 48 hours probably, depend on the urgency of what they need. My case was just a free agent playing arena football as a free agent after that year ended, which, excuse me, I was up for Rookie of the Year doing that, and that was indoor 8-man football. You know what I mean? I think it was 8-man football. And I just got that call, and they flew me out there like 2 days later, I believe, because once again, I was in Kentucky for the holiday, so we had to get the holiday break in.
Okay.
But it gave me a time to get home back to Dallas, get situated, and then flew me out there for a workout.
Yeah.
So me being an arena guy, D2 guy, flying in for a workout, bruh. And, you know, some of the best in the world they flying in. I ain't the only one getting the call.
Yeah, okay.
You know, but there's only one spot that they need to fill, and it was a linebacker position inside. And that's what I played inside. But it's crazy how things work, man. When I got out there, I was like, man, I hope we ain't running no 40s.
Yeah.
I was a 40 guy.
Yeah.
You know, 300 tackles is a lot, you know what I mean? But I had
that
game
is.
Speed, and plus my IQ was there too, so I was always in good position to make plays. Just studying. You can't be a dumb football player. I tell my guys that too.
Yeah.
You can't be done playing any sports. I don't think people understand how much studying go into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, so just flew out there, bro. About 60, 70 guys, bro.
Yeah.
But I was nervous because I was like, man, I don't want to run no 40. I don't want to run no 40.
Yeah.
But once again, God, bro, I remember Champ came out. God knew. Somebody yelled out, hey, we running 40s today? He's like, nah, we ain't running no 40s. We finna see who know how to play football.
Yeah.
So did a lot of drill. They drilled the hell out of us, bro. But luckily I was in shape, man, just working out on my own at the time. Really couldn't afford a trainer, so just utilized my resources. Like my bro Marlon, his brother worked at the YMCA. Let me come up there and worked out. So I really just put it on myself every day, bro. Just getting comfortable with boredom, just doing the same thing repeatedly every day, bro, and just trusting in God, you know what I mean? And the next thing you know, I'm in a position to show what I got. Yeah. You know, and kind of just worked out, tired as hell, but Champ came up to me like, how you feel like you did? And I was like, man, I feel like I crushed it. I feel like I was the best one here, to be honest.
Yeah.
And he's like, shit, we do too. So it kind of worked out like that, bro.
How was that moment? How was that moment for you? Like getting the wisdom, like, getting to talk to Champ Bailey.
It was Champ Kelly. Champ Kelly. And man, really Champ, bro. He got some Kentucky roots. He played at Kentucky, bro. Yeah. He did his thing out there. He'll tell you about. But Champ was a beast, bro. But you know, just really showing me how much of a business it was. You know what I mean, and how being prepared in that moment really showed them how much of a professional I can be without them having to tell me, or, you know, being brought up through that D1 system, like SEC bar, something where they do prep kids. You know, I kind of took that backdoor route like Kurt Warner, where everything was on me. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I always listened, though. Like I said, I had Coach Guy Morris, my teammates in college, Mike Cleve, guys that's been around great programs in Texas high school football. And, you know, they kind of just poured into me. So I always listened. I was a sponge, you know. So that really prepared me, and just, it was big, man. Champ believed in me, bro, so that was big, you know.
How was that adjustment going from the indoor to the NFL? What would you say was like the biggest difference?
Man, shoot, in indoor it's more like condensed and things happen faster, your reads come quicker. So really just like when I got back outdoors, I had to learn to be patient. You know, I had to reprogram myself back outdoors, 11-man football, just being patient, right? So studying, you know, and I ain't gonna lie, that was a slap. That's the hardest I ever worked in my life in football. Yeah. And then I signed, not to skip steps in this journey, but I signed, and then people don't know, when you get signed as a free agent, you signed a futures contract. That means we got your rights, but that don't mean you're gonna make this roster. Yeah. So you gotta go through all the training camps, mini camps, vet mini camps, rookie mini camps. There's a lot of cuts going on. Yeah. And it's a high stress environment too, but you know, I had my faith in God. I knew He wouldn't put me in that position if it wasn't for me. You know what I mean? But man, it was the hardest I ever worked, bro. It was real hard, bro.
Do you got any welcome to the NFL moments? Like a dang, I'm here.
Man, hell yeah. When they shaved my head, bro. You know, I had a Von Miller, one of our good friends to this day, bro. Him, Talib, Chris Harris Jr. I came in with a great rookie class, bro, in 2015 Super Bowl team. But, man, it was just one of them things. When they shaved my head, bro, it's kind of like you in this brotherhood now, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then on the top of that, it was probably like my rookie mini camp. I was fucking up in special teams. I was messing up in special teams. Yeah. Coach Kubiak, Gary Kubiak, pulled me to the side, which he played for Denver where Elway won Super Bowls. Said I was surprised he knew my name, man. You know what I mean? But he was like, hey, 45, Mason, he was like, look, man, I see you dragging ass out here. Everybody's tired. But he talked about just mental toughness, and he was just like, you know, you ain't one of them guys that can take plays off. You know what I mean? You barely got in the dough. He's like, so suck it up and hunt. He's like, you got to hunt every day. Every day you got to get better and better. Can't be fucking up at the same stuff you doing. He's like, you got to be hunting every day. So after practice, he talked to the team, and he's like, Danny Mason, break us down. So that was pretty cool, man. That was kind of like really my welcome to the NFL. And then when they cut my head, that brotherhood welcome too, man.
They reminded me of Drumline. Remember when they cut Nick Cannon? That's what they reminded me of.
He said, you didn't read the rule book.
Yeah.
Before that rule book out of
Yeah. So going back to that, so how did you handle the pressure of dealing with all that?
Man, like I said, just go back to my family. A lot of like phone calls and stuff, man. And just my faith, bro. You know, faith without works is dead. You know, and my grandmother, she's like one of the spiritual anchors in our family, and, you know, just relying on how I was brought up, bro. Yeah. You know what I mean? And just putting in the work, honestly. You know, my faith, putting in the works, praying, you know, and just showing up every day. Like Coach say, hunt every day. I'm literally like a sponge. Like growing up, I wasn't the best athlete. I played with so many great guys in Kentucky and Texas in college. But I was one of them kids, like, a coach tell me to do something like jump rope for 10 minutes a day, get your coordination right, I'd do it. And I was like, my rookie year, I remember somebody, Kurt Warner, like I said, I followed his story, which encouraged me, you know, be the first one in, the last one out. I was beating the coaches to the facility. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then I would hang back after practice, after meetings, go back into the meeting room and quiz myself on the board, draw plays, and just becoming like just obsessed with the game, you know, and to learn. Because like I was already behind the ball a little bit. I didn't go to a big time school. Yeah. And 3 years in college, I didn't really have I didn't even have a strength coach in college for real, bro. They had like coaches just drawing up our workouts and stuff like that, man. So, you know, my faith, bro, and just putting in the work. You know, and believing. Yeah. You know what I mean? In my high school, I had a good senior campaign when our team went into the playoffs, but we ain't done that in like 20 years, but we just believed in each other, and that was like one of our words that year, just belief, you know what I mean? So them homegrown things just stuck with me.
You also spent time with the Chicago Bears, so how was the adjustment going from Denver to Chicago?
Bad. Man, I went from the best team in the NFL to the worst team in the NFL, bro. Damn. And it was probably, it was cold. I think it was way colder out there in Chicago because of that lake. But, man, it was fun, bro, just to be able to move around like that and be wanted, and to have Champ on that end because he left Denver, bro. When I got to Denver, he was gone. Yeah. So that kind of sucked. But he was in Chicago and then brought me in on the back end. And it was an adjustment, just, you know, learning championship habits that whole year. Yeah. And then going to a team that wasn't even sniffing the playoffs, you know. So you really realize how not to do it, you know what I mean, and being a pro, what not to do, you know what I mean? So I know what it looks like and what it shouldn't look like, if that makes sense. Yeah. But it was cool. I like the city of Chicago. I'm a Midwest kid growing up in the 90s, you know, the Chicago Bears, you know, the Monsters of the Midway. They got some greats out there. Walter Payton being one of the biggest, Big Refrigerator Perry. You know, I just remember hanging with my uncles growing up, watching them ball out, and Michael Jordan, of course. Yeah. So I just fell in love with the history and just being blessed to be a part of that historical franchise, man, and them giving me opportunity. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it was cool.
You still keep up with the guys from the team?
Yeah, man. You don't be a social media, and then, you know, I got an opportunity to play overseas in Canada. Yeah. So a lot of them guys, you know, guys go up and down. You know what I mean, from the CFL to the NFL. So it's football is a big, small community, if it makes sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I already know. So you're open about your faith with God. So how has your relationship with him, like, prevailed your obstacles on the field and off the field?
Oh, man, shoot, without him, bro, none of us would be here, honestly. You know, just really identifying who Jesus was when he walked this earth and try my best to align myself with his walk, you know, not trying to be just like him, but just align myself, you know. Me and my boys talk all the time, my brother, just every day just trying to, we spoken about on the way, just gradual change, you know, and just seeking them. Yeah. You know what I mean? Seeking them and finding your truth in them and, you know, not worrying. I got teammates that used to say never ever worry, trusting God, family, you know, so everything, honestly, bro, it's helped a lot, you know, just not even being from Texas, trying to establish yourself away from sports and work, you know, planting yourself here, creating a life, family, building your village and community. you know, and just putting God at the center consistently. You know what I mean?
Most definitely. I like that for sure. What's one lesson that football has taught you?
Man, so many lessons. The most important one, stay humble, man.
That's number one for sure. Bro. Yeah.
You know, stay humble, but know when to pop it when it's time to pop it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, because that humble stuff only gets you so long, in a sense of you go on the field and you being Mr. Humble and somebody take your reps and you don't speak up, you don't go to the coach's office and I'm just happy to be here. Nah, man, you got to fight. Yeah, it's taught me to fight too, but be humble when it comes to doing the work when nobody's watching, you know, being humble with your day-to-day drills, like your recovery, your studying, you know, keeping the family close, you know, and, you know, football is a full-time job.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think a lot of people know what they sign up for when they play this sport, including any sport, honestly, bro. If you're really trying to take it a distance and be a trailblazer, you know, like I feel like I was, you know, I've lost time with my family in Kentucky, little nieces and nephews growing up, but it was just, shoot, it's something I wanted to do for myself, you know, prove myself wrong. I really prove myself right, you know what I mean? So just to be humble, work hard, you know what I mean, and keep your core values intact, which mine was faith, family, and football.
For sure. So after football, you end up getting into training. So how did you end up start training, and how long have you been doing it so far?
I've been probably training for, like, if I was really to count the years, probably like 12 years probably, you know what I mean? But I just had great mentors, like coaches, people that poured into me through training. Coach Means, he was my high school coach. He runs a gym in Louisville, Kentucky, By Any Means Fitness. Coach Noel Scarlett, he passed away of COVID, so RIP him. His son play at A&M right now. But spent a lot of time under them guys, you know, and seeing how they touched me and the other players and youth that was coming up. And I just was like, man, I want to be one of those guys. You know what I mean? Somebody that is a pillar in the community, you know, just not in the sport, but, you know, pouring into young men, you know what I mean? So that's how I really got my start. I was in between football, you know, it'd be up and down, you getting released and trying to figure things out. And I just really just had a nick for it, you know, just to, like I said, I went into college as a small guy.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time working out on my own, just understanding the body, doing my research, studying, and through the NFL, PA, they gave us opportunities to get certified as trainers.
Yeah.
You know, so I did that. I took advantage of that. And then just having great mentors and seeing how to do it, you know what I mean? I also had bad trainers seeing how not to do it, you know what I mean? But just being aware and seeing the impact of this industry and who you can be, especially with the youth, you know what I mean?
Can you let the audience know who you are trained with so far? You trained?
Man, I've trained with a lot of athletes professionally and the youth level, high school and college. You know, some of the biggest names, Derrick Henry, Von Miller, man, a couple dogs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Man, just a lot. Jalen Brewster, he's one of the youngins coming up right now in the Metroplex. KJ Ford, got an 8th grader named Carlos DeBose who's tapped in. My nephew, who's in college right now, Jalen Thomas, JT's out at West Texas doing his thing. My nephew Cortland, he's at Kilgore taking a junior college route, which he gonna be a monster. I see it in him once he really tap into his potential. But it takes time, right?
Yeah.
But him, you know, he's at Kilgore College where my best friend from high school went to college there. Some of my teammates in college went there. So I got mad respect for Kilgore. I know what they doing out there.
Yeah.
But, you know, a lot of these young athletes, I just tell, man, the work's half the battle, but people forget, you know, time got to play its part too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Time's a variable in this grind in life, you know what I mean? Like I just turned 35, about to have my first kid. It took time for me to get to this point.
Yeah.
You know, I had to check all these personal boxes and dreams and stuff like that. Life come at you in waves, you know what I mean? So give yourself grace because time is a real variable, you know what I mean?
Most definitely.
Yeah, but a lot of athletes, bro, you know, a lot of athletes. And like Von still doing his thing, got an opportunity to be his teammate and train him, you know what I mean? So it's cool to play both sides of it, but, you know, it's a blessing just to still be in the mix with a lot of these guys, bro. There's so many guys I can name, man. So many guys I can name.
And now you're the vice president. So, like, what's your mission behind what goals you trying to set for yourself?
You know, just continue to push the brand from a company standpoint, Sanders Fit Performance, Melvin Sanders, shout out to bro. You know, he kind of got the similar background story. That's how we clicked. He played in the NBA for a minute overseas. He leads from the front in this fitness thing, in this fitness industry. You know, from a physical standpoint, he shows up every day, takes care of himself, and then he leads a group of trainers from the business standpoint, and then, you know, pour into these athletes. So I got a great mentor in him, and then just for myself, you know, just kind of just be one of the best that's in it. You know what I mean? I'm working with some of the best, so what's that make me?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
So names some big names.
Just try to keep growing, bro, you know, and just, you know, do my best to just show up every day. You know, I feel like we all wear different hats, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, just going through my career in football, I like to compartmentalize my life at times, but I've grown, like I said, time plays part. I've grown to know you can have it all. Yeah. You know, if you just be aware and have your eyes open, you know, and just know when to, like I said, pop it or stay humble at times. But, you know, I just want to be one of the best that's done it, you know, in the gym and outside the gym too, with these athletes and fitness clients too. You know, it's a community, bro. You know, just showing love, showing up for each other. And hopefully they take a little bit of what I do for them, they do it for others. And that's just to show love, you know.
Yeah, what makes you feel like your training is different from other trainers? Do you feel like you have a different style?
Yeah, I think I'm more real about it. You know, I feel like a lot of trainers ain't done what I've done. You know what I mean? Ain't got it out the mud like I've got it out the mud. Ain't really, you know, chase that and achieve that. You know, because there are some people in your life and things you can do to help you skip steps, you know, including like, you know, remembering your granny making you get up early in the morning, maybe sometimes at night, going in the garden and grinding. So why wouldn't I get up if I feel like I ain't worked hard enough to go pay that, put my time in the gym? I just feel like, you know, and I take my time with the kids and my clients. I really try to tap into where they at in life. Yeah. You know, like recently I've been asking some of my athletes, man, what's your game day playlist hitting for? What you listen to? You know what I mean? They all got different stuff they listen to, but it kind of tell you where their mind is at, what books they reading, you know, and going the extra mile, like, man, where your hoodie at? They coming into the gym, like, giving them clothes and stuff like that. You know, I don't like to talk about a lot of stuff I do for the youngins, but, you know, just taking my time with them and really not just collecting a check from them, you know, I'm really talking to their parents, showing up at the games. You know, I remember I just started training in Dallas, and I knew I wanted to train athletes, but I met my bro Wesley Thomas, one of the biggest in the city. You know, he do a lot for the community and the kids, but seeing him, how he operate in the community, he really plugged me in some of these schools and seeds that was planted back in, 2021, 2022? Yeah, just telling me to pull up at high school, little league games, meeting these kids. You know, they like the stars, you know what I mean? So just being very intentional. Yeah, for sure. You know what I mean?
What you feel like
showing up early with them.
What you feel like being your proudest moment as a trainer?
Shoot, seeing JT and them walk across the stage for real, bro. Like seeing my nephews out here walk across the stage, but really just seeing a lot of these kids just graduate high school and go to college, man. Yeah. Because I know how that feel like, you know what I mean? And I know that accomplishment for your family and what it to mean, you know. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. So last question I got before I close this podcast out. What advice would you give other people who want to be in your shoes one day?
Man, keep God first for sure. You know, put Jesus first always, and take your plans to him before you take it to anybody. Yeah. Talk to the man that created you. Let him know what your plans is. But also find what you're good at, you know, and just show up every day, bro. Yeah. No matter what it look like outside, rain, sleet, or snow, do your best to show up every day, but also give yourself grace. Yeah. Learn yourself, pour into yourself before you can serve others.
Most definitely.
But really find out if you really want to do this fitness thing, and just find what you're good at in this field. There's so many trainers out there in this industry. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. But just be intentional with what you do best. And for me, I believe that's the youth. Yeah. You know, and the athletic side of things, and because I've been there my whole life for real. Yeah. And just try to be innovative in a such, you know, working with Melvin, I've learned different things, you know, to this fitness grind and athletics and stuff, innovation, you know. Yeah. And make sure you're able to do the work. Yeah. You know, it's easy to sit there and tell somebody to do this, that, and the third. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's different when you can jump out in the trenches with them.
When somebody do it, yeah. Like I said, man, appreciate you taking the time to come on the podcast. You got any shout-outs you want to give? Where you lead?
The family, my brother Tez, Wes, you know what I mean? My sweetheart, wife to be soon, my baby girl Serenity on the way, AP, Amanda, you know, my family, you know what I mean? And the whole Sanders Fit team. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I got to pull up to y'all gym one of these days, get active with
come
y'all.
Get this work, man.
Y'all gonna kill me when I get up in there, but nah, I'm gonna pull up for show support.
Yeah, appreciate you having me, dog.
Yeah, for sure.
Real.
If you guys like today's video, make sure you guys like subscribe to D-Hop TV Podcast.
Do that.
Appreciate you, my boy.
Let's get it, man. D-Hop.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.